that I tell you we prep the onion last because you don't want all those onion juices on the board and you're cutting your carrots and you're crying, you're cutting your celery and you're crying because all those juices are on the board from the onion. You don't want to do that. It's bad enough you got to cry when you're cutting an onion, let alone crying when you have to cut everything else. So don't do that. Do the onion last. That way you don't have to worry about it. But I also always tell you that if there's raw meat involved, you do the raw meat last and the onion second to last. That way, when you're done with the board, you're not contaminating everything in your kitchen with raw meat. You just put the board in the dishwasher, put the board in the sink, get rid of the knife. You're done, right? I put an onion in the fridge when I know I'm going to prep it because I don't want to cry. No one likes to cry, right? Unless it's really worth it. Hot air rises. We all know that. Even warm air will rise faster than cold air. Cold air stays down low, warm air rises. So if you have your onions at room temperature, those fumes are going to rise to your eyes a lot faster and you're going to cry a lot more. By putting in the fridge for a couple hours ahead of time, cold fumes stay down below, less crying. It makes sense. It's just logics, right? If you forgot to put your onion in the fridge, you can pop it in the freezer for like 10 or 15 minutes. It's not going to freeze solid in that small amount of time. You're going to have the same effect. The other thing you can do as well is have a fan, like one of your summer fans, blowing in the other room, and that will blow the fumes away as you're cutting it. Or you can have your overhead fan on your hood and have your board sit up near there, put that on high, and it's going to suck the fumes up there instead of going into your eyes. That works as well. But you can get onion goggles that have a foam backing on. Seriously, they just sit on your face like sunglasses, and they look cool, different colors and stuff like that. They don't leave any indents like swimming goggles on your eye sockets, so it's really good. But I want to tell you a funny story. Back when I could do live classes, someone said, hey, I heard that if you are prepping an onion, if you hold a spoon in your teeth, let me show you. I don't think I have a spoon handy, but I'll show you with a spatula, okay? Like this. Okay, if you hold a spoon in your teeth as you prep an onion, it's something to do with the chemical reaction of the metal and the fumes, and you don't cry. They were saying that. I said, wow, it's weird. I never heard of that before. And another guy raised up his hand and he wanted to say a comment. He claimed to be a scientist. I can't remember what kind of scientist he was, but he said that will work, but it's nothing to do with the metal interfering with the fumes of the onion. What it is, you could hold anything in your teeth, a spoon, a spatula, a slice of bread, anything. And what happens is it changes your breathing pattern. Watch this. It blocks your mouth open. So as you're cutting, you tend to breathe more of the fumes into your mouth and less gets to your eyes. So I have tried this. I have tried cutting onions with the numerous different things hanging out of my mouth. And yes, my wife still thinks I'm handsome, by the way. And it works to a certain degree. Okay. If you're prepping like 2 or 3 onions, maybe not the best plan, but it does work to a certain degree. If you ever have somebody comment on that or tell you that, that's why it does work, okay? But not as good as having it cold or having those other options. And the little candle at the cutting board to burn off the fumes, that doesn't work. Don't believe these things. Oh my goodness, the things you hear on TV on these cooking shows. Just come to the Chef Des Zoom classes, folks. You don't need to watch those cooking shows on TV. I heard another guy on TV say, oh, you just have to cut your onion with a sharp knife and then you won't cry. What a load of malarkey. I can't believe they let these people on TV. I have so many sharp knives, I still cry like a baby. It's nothing to do with that. Or somebody said, oh, if you cut it a certain way, baloney. You're still cutting it and you're still going to release those fumes. Let me show you how to cut a cold onion, and that's going to get the fumes less to your eyes than cutting a warm one. That's really how you got to go, okay? Or those, bring the fans in the kitchen or get those onion goggles. See that big hairy bit? No one wants to eat that. Let's cut that off. See that stem bit? We're going to cut that off too. So take your onion, careful because it's round again. So hold it steady, cut off the hairy bit, cut off the stem bit. Now you can set it nice and flat. I want you to cut it in half at this point and take the peel off of it. Okay, once you have it peeled, I'm going to show you a special way to cut it for stir fries. It's all about presentation and making this onion look attractive. So we can continue making slices on the onion parallel to where we did these cuts. Okay, so just doing slices like this, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I'll do one slice. You're still going to make slices of the onion by slicing it that way, and you're going to get like these half circles of onion, which are not bad, nothing wrong with that, but we can make it look a little bit better. So what I want you to do, instead of cutting it like this, turn it a quarter turn, and we're going to work the curvature of the onion and just have slices this way. And I'll show you the difference. Do it thin. Okay, and I'll show you the difference side by side, or side by each, as I like to say. When you get to this part though, when it's more vertical than horizontal, here's what you do. Tip it over so it stays more flat on the board and continue cutting it. that way, in the same direction. Now, what you have, look at these. So here's our unattractive semicircles. I mean, we're not unattractive, just not as attractive. There's these pieces. Look at that. It just looks more attractive to the eye. Just, you have like crescent moons or whatever. It just looks better than that. And it's all about presentation. You don't need to break them all up and do that for every single one. That'll happen in the stir fry, but I just wanted to show you the difference, okay? Between, something like this and something like this. It just looks better. And that's how we're going to have more of an attractive appearance. We'll still use those unattractive semicircles. We'll put them in there.